Alright, this is going to be the review sheet number 5 quick video. Should be a little shorter here today, but they're going to get shorter as we go because you guys are gaining more and more skills as we go. So, we did a question just like this one on review sheet number, I want to say number 3. Could have been 4 though, but it was number 9. It was like this box right here. Okay, it was that box on either 3 or 4. So you can always look back to that one. Okay, now what this is you're listing out the first 5 common multiples. Now notice the instructions say use prime factorization to solve. Okay, so just keep in mind that means you need to do your trees. You have to find the LCM because this first number is representing the LCM. And then remember, after that, I gave you that strategy that you can use. You're doing something, you're counting by something to figure out the next 4 after that first. Remember, the LCM could also be called the FCM, the first common multiple. Okay, prime composite or neither. We've done 100 of these, so I think at this point I don't need to say much. It was in chapter 1. Just remember, this is kind of the process that I taught you, asking whether or not something was even or odd, and then if that number is odd, we need to check and see if that odd number has factors of 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so I think you guys are pretty good with that stuff right there. This is chapter 1, LT number 10. Okay, I'll do a quick example over here, even though for the most part I think everybody's good with these. I'll just do one that is 48 plus 12. We'll just do 12. Okay, remember the first step is finding your GCF, and that number always goes there. Okay, so I'm going to find my GCF. I'm going to do my trees. Okay, so that's going to be 8 and 6. Circling them when they become prime. Very much review based on what we're moving on to now. Okay, this will be 3 and 4. Okay, so we end up getting 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, and then 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, basic stuff, finding the GCF first, remember. That's going to give us 4, or I'm sorry, we got to have common 3's there as well. That's going to give us 12. And then we're going to multiply 12 by anything that's left over up there, which is going to give us, I'm sorry, I don't know why I was saying LCM. Jeez, very sorry. You only find the GCF here, okay, because we're finding GCF. Sorry if I confused anybody. Very sorry, jeez. Okay, so yeah, the LCM is 12. And then remember, we put that outside the parentheses, and then we're going to use the property called the distributive property. Okay, and that distributive property says a number outside the parentheses can be multiplied by both numbers on the inside. So we can basically multiply it by this one to get back to this. So the question we asked was 12 times what would get us back to 48? Hopefully you're all saying 4. 12 times what would get me back to 12? It would be 1. So pretty easy there. Just the biggest mistake that students make is they don't use the GCF. Make sure you're using the greatest common factor there. Okay, these ones, guys. Okay, remember, you have to show work, and I'm going to do an example over here that's going to show you exactly what I expect, and I do expect it, or it will be wrong. And I think I'm fair in doing that, simply because you can get these checked all week, and I'm giving you a video showing you exactly what I expect. All you got to do is pop on and watch it. So if you're watching it, you're good. You will be, you'll get this right, I have a feeling. So I'm going to make one up over to the side. I'm not going to do either one of these. Now, you're going to want to get a separate sheet of paper, so I'll just make one up here. We're going to do 28 divided by 9 minus 5. I'll take it over a little bit. And then we'll do times 4 plus 9 squared. Something like that. Okay? Now we've got to remember the very first thing that we have to do is we have to write PEMDAS. That is always going to be, I make you do it. I'm going to make sure the video hears me say this. If you do not have this written, I don't care about your work and your answer. You will get it wrong. It's just, I want you to get in the habit of doing it, and that's my only way of making you do it, is counting it wrong if you don't do it. So, we got to do parentheses first. So I'm going to go to the parentheses right there. That means something happening inside a parentheses. So we do 9 minus 5, that is 4. Now what we're going to do is we're not going to start doing this and doing multiple steps. We are now going to bring everything down that we did not use. So 28 divided by, we did not use that. We bring down times 4, and we bring down plus 9 squared. Now, are there any more parentheses? No. Now I'm on to exponents. Okay, well, I'm going to take care of these exponents. Be careful. This is not 18. Okay, it's not 9 times 2. It's 9 squared, which means 9 times 9, which is 81. Now I'm going to bring down 28 divided by 4 times 4 plus 81. Now I'm done with the exponents. See how I rewrote everything? Okay. Now I'm going to go to multiply or divide. Remember, this is just one step. Okay, which means it can be multiple steps, but it's one step as far as you do this at the same time. So we are going to look at this and we're going to say, okay, I'm going to draw an arrow left to right, and that's going to be my reminder to say, what I see that there's division and there's multiplication. Which one do I do first? I have to do the one that I see on the left first. So I'm going to go ahead and do 28 divided by 4. It's going to give me 7. Now I'm going to bring down everything. 7 times 4 plus 81. Okay. Now I'm still on this step. That's going to give me 28, right? Plus 81. Bring that down. Now I'm finally done with multiplication and division. Now I'm on to addition or subtraction. There's only one step left. And if we add those, we are going to get 109. 109. So there's our answer. Okay? So just like I said in class the other day, do you see my tornado looking, kind of looks like a tornado? I kind of went slanted there, but that's what I expect. You do one step at a time. There I only did 9 minus 5. There I only did 9 squared. There I only did 28 divided by 4. There I only did 7 times 4. There I only did 28 plus 41, or 81. So it's only one step at a time. So on those, make sure we're showing work. If you don't, it will be wrong. Okay? Let's go on to the next one. Finding the value of the powers. Okay? I'm going to let you guys do this. You got to think about what it means. I'll just give you an example. If I say value, first thing you got to understand is 3 to the 6th means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That's what it means. Now you need to actually calculate that to give me a value. Okay? Obviously this one, big problem that I'm going to see, I have a feeling, is I'm going to have people putting 8. 8 is not correct. Just be careful. That means 4 times 4. Okay? I'll do a quick example of one of these. Okay? Everybody watch. I'm going to make one up here. I'm going to do C times B minus A plus B C, something like that. Okay, so there's an algebraic expression because it has numbers, variables, and operations. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write PEMDAS, because you have to do that, guys. This is the same thing. These two questions are the exact same. The only difference is the variables need to be replaced by numbers. So the very next step before we do any of the actual adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the numbers. So I have CB. That means whenever you see a letter, a variable touching each other, they're right next to each other, that means multiply. Okay, so we have 10 times 6 minus 70 plus, this might not be a good example, I'm a little nervous. I'm going to change this just be careful here, sorry. But it doesn't matter, I'm just going to make that plus. And then plus, and then B is 6, and then again that means multiply times 10. So here we go. We have no parentheses. There are no exponents. Now we're on to multiply or divide. Remember, multiplying and dividing happens left to right. So we do whichever we see first. I see that there's 60 there. Now I'm going to bring down everything. I see that now on the next step, I still have more multiplication. 6 times 10 is 60. Now we're going to do 60 plus 70 plus 60. And then I'm finally done with multiplication or division. Now I'm on to addition or subtraction. A lot of you are going to want to do 60 plus 70 plus 60 and then get an answer. Nope. We do one step and we rewrite it. So I'm going to do that. That's going to be 130 and then 130 plus 60 is going to give me 190. So that's the steps. By the way, going back up here, I know this probably ain't going to help you guys, but maybe it will. Whenever a number is touching a parentheses, that means multiply. That is saying 3 times 4. Okay? So that's that. All right, let's keep rolling here. Function table. Pretty easy function table here, actually. This is the number that's coming into the machine. This is what's happening to it. So you're just going to have to take every input, apply that rule. This is your x. So then the x is there. Apply this rule to all these, and then get an output. Okay? We did some of these last week. This is just solving mentally. Figure out what m equals, what x equals, what y equals, what p equals. Okay? Figure out what it's going to be mentally. Mentally fine there. Rounding. I'll do one real quick. Just remember, the hundredths would be 2 places to the right of the decimal, so that's going to be right there. Okay, and remember, we always draw our arrow to the number to the right. Everything to the left is going to remain the same. It's going to remain the exact same. So I'm going to rewrite that part right now, 2456.0, and then it's either going to be 0.06 or it's going to be 0.05. Because this 4 right here is 4 or less, we're going to leave it as a 5. So I did the first one for you. This one, drawing a vertical number line. You can look at your Chapter 2 notes to get help with that. That's something we just covered. I'm just going to write this word just to maybe remind you. That says thermometer. It's not very neat, but it says thermometer. Think of these as temperatures. Okay. Let's go on to the next page. Okay. What is the meaning of 4 to the third? Well, I kind of already went over that right here. So you're going to have to look back at that, but pretty easy there, I think. This one, square floor tiles. Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight the word square floor tiles. Will be put on the floor of a school hallway. Each tile is 1 foot by 1 foot. Very important there. Basically what you have here is you have a hallway. And this hallway is 85 feet by 8 feet. You need to know how many of these 1 by 1 tiles you're going to need to be able to cover this entire hallway. And remember, it's just about. So you need to think about what unit of measure you would use. Would you use the perimeter? Is that what you need? Would you be doing the area? Would you be doing the volume? Would you be doing the length? You know, all width, whatever. Which one of those would be describing 1 foot by 1 foot square tiles? Okay, I'll let you go from there on that one. I'll let you think. This one is a division problem. Okay, it even gave you the little little house thing to work from. So you're gonna have to work through that one. Okay, that number goes on the inside. 81 is gonna go on the out. You do have to show your work here. Okay. Next one we have this question right here. We'll talk about that for just a moment here. Okay. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to turn all of these to decimals. So I'm going to do one for you. I'm going to do this one right here for you. So if I go to change this, and by the way, it might help if you label these as A, B, C, D, and E. Now for E right here, I'm going to do 4 divided by 3 to figure out what that equals. Remember, all fractions are division problems. So when I do 4 divided by 3, I'm going to bring letter E over here. I know that 4 divided by 3 gives me 1.3 repeating. Now I could put a bunch on there if I wanted. Then remember, it's negative 4/3, so it's got to be negative 1.333. So I go to try to figure out where E is going to go. Well, I know that if it's -1 and then it's got some decimal on there, I'm going to have to count to the left and then go beyond -1. So that tells me that letter E is going to go right there. Not right here, because I'm going to go beyond -1. Okay? You have to fill out the rest of those, A, B, C, and D. Okay? Next one, the thing I showed you last week that was supposed to be a help for you guys. The way I teach this, even though it's an elementary thing, the way I teach it is I have you guys just get rid of the decimals. So get rid of them for a minute. So basically I'm dealing with now 483 times 739. Okay, and then you can do your multiplication. But remember, you have to go back at the end and you have to move your decimal however many spots, however many numbers there were to the right of the decimal. You need to move your decimal that many times. Okay, and finally, or two more here, a coordinate. You're reflecting. Notice that this is the x, this is the y. Let me give you a quick example. If I was reflecting over the y, this one here, I would be reflecting. So think about a mirror image. I even like to draw a little guy like this, and at the top of his head is where the dot is. Where would his head be over here? Wouldn't it be the same distance from the y-axis if it was reflecting over that? This is the mirror. This is the edge of the water as I've taught it. Okay, so if it's 1, 2, 3 away there, it's got to be 1, 2, 3 away there. So what point would that be? That would be -3 up 2. Okay, now that's not your answer. You're going to be reflecting over the x-axis and then giving me a coordinate, an x value and a y. Okay. Finally, -3/4. You're going to put that on the number line. This is something we worked on the gizmos thing, and you need to make sure you use it. You can use that gizmos if you want to help you out, but notice it's negative. Okay, and then just think about how this is broken up, what the fraction that it's broken up into, and then determine where that's going to go. But remember, you count to the right the same way you would count to the left. Okay, and that's it. Hope it helped you guys.